What's poppin', everybody? This is the cartoon kid Ray Rawlins, and today we're continuing the 25 Days of Christmas Cartoons Marathon with a good old classic. Everybody knows this one, hopefully. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, before we get into this good old classic, we're going to have Mr. Alex Payne give us the episode or special breakdown. So, Alex, what happens in this episode?
Well, this episode follows Rudolph. What do you know? Who who was born with a strange red nose that emits light, I suppose. And I know this is kind of a first impression, but I just want to drop this in here. The noise that it makes when
Oh
it
yeah,
lights up was annoying
yeah.
as fuck.
It was, especially with headphones on, that fucking whistle. Oh yeah, but continue.
Yeah. So, and and it also follows a elf named Hermie, who he doesn't want to he doesn't want to make toys. He wants to be a dentist. And
Interesting.
he's an outcast because he's a dentist, and Rudolph is an outcast because of his nose, and no one really taken to them because they're different, they're strange, they're weird. So eventually, them two run off and try to leave the village, I suppose. And they run into an island with a whole bunch of toys that nobody wants, and this episode just basically centers around them being outcasts, and eventually Rudolph comes back. They need his nose to guide them through a storm, and everything's happy ever after.
Yep, he earns their acceptance. So, my first impression, like you said, the nose, man, ooh, yeah, the nice annoying sound effect with the whistle. But
Yeah.
I do have to say, this special has so many undertones, and I wouldn't say necessarily hidden messages, but it's kind of fucked up, like Santa Claus is supposed to be this loving, understanding individual. He's supposed to love everybody, but he's one of the main ones who basically shoves Rudolph aside, like, man, yo, your nose, it's fucked up, bro, and I can't have you guiding my sleigh like that. I really want to say this special took place in the 1950s. I'm not
No,
100%
it's
sure. I want to
64. But they probably is
get the
working
fuck
on it
out of
something.
here.
Yeah.
Wow, get out of here. Because it's like some of the stuff, like, the whole thing with that's like in the midst of the civil rights movement, too. And it's 1964. They just passed like the law for allowing people to vote, eliminating discrimination at voting booths and whatnot. Because that's what I'm mainly thinking about in this episode.
I
I want to
honestly think
say,
they just was going for the whole don't bully each other's
no, yeah, you're
children type
right.
of thing. I don't
And
think they
that
was even
that's
really going for that. I think it's just I
I
think
say it's a
nowadays we're
combination of
just
all of that.
I think
It's
nowadays we're just programmed to think like that.
But nowadays, yeah, like you said, it's primarily towards bullying children. But the whole thing is the whole aspect of this should be like, man, everybody needs to be treated equally. You know, Hermie doesn't want to follow in the path of like a normal elf and making toys. He wants to be a dentist. Rudolph with his weird glowing nose. Yeah, he's basically seen as an outcast, which isn't right. This dude has a glowing nose. So what? He ain't hurt nobody. Neither is Hermie. And
You
you
know,
see the island of
if you
misfit toys. Hold on. You see the island of misfit toys and all that. Nobody wants them because they're different. Like, and the whole premise of this thing, like you said, is you can say it's for kids too, but I say it's for everybody. Like, just because someone's different, you shouldn't have to mistreat them. And one more thing that I want to mention: when Rudolph's mom, I forgot what her name was, she wants to go out and look for him, and
they
the
never
husband
said.
Donner, the husband Donner's like, yo, stay here at the house. That's man's work. That's why I really want to say it's in the 50s, and I'm like, yo, that's kind of crazy. And Donna or Miss Donner and Clarice had to go out and looking for Rudolph. I'm like, man, that's kind of fucked up. He said, nah, bitch, you staying in here. Motherfucker, stay in that kitchen, ho.
Cook my dinner
But
for when I get back.
I feel bad because we have a 22% female audience. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I really do apologize. That's
But
fucked up. But go ahead.
but what I was oh yeah
You can see the difference. That's my whole point. You can see the difference in time and how the characters interact with each other back then, as compared to
I
like
mean, other
shit
than
like that
the
wouldn't fly. Hold on, shit like that would not fly in today's cartoons. Go ahead.
well, I mean, really, if you really want to think about it, some worse shit flies in cartoons. I mean, people still
No
talk about
shit.
it, but it kind of does.
No
But
shit.
I would say, I mean, I would say, other than that mention, and you could even argue that away as him just trying to be like a a tough big man, got to go out and do it. So I feel like
Right, right,
that's even a
right.
stretch for. But it's funny because I was just thinking about it. If you want to go with the interpretation of discrimination, I mean, when you think about it, right, Rudolph has a very shiny and bright nose, and Hermie wants to stop being a slave making toys and be a dentist. What do those two things sound like if you try to think about it in a different way? It sounds to me like freaking Rudolph is the bright gay one,
Oh no.
and, and Hermie is the black slave who don't want to pick cotton no more.
But you know what? That's what I like about reviewing shows and shit, because people are gonna come away with different interpretations. Especially, motherfucking this shit might be reviewed in like 3,000 or something like that. And it's gonna be talking about, oh man, this can be compared to motherfucking blue robots and green robots or some shit like that. Like, depending on the time period, a lot of different things can be pulled from the same story. Like, people are gonna make their own inferences and interpretations on the same story, and they're all gonna be different.
That's
That's what
just
I
me. I
like
don't
about this
believe
shit.
that's what they was thinking. But
No,
if
no,
you
no, no.
want
Of
to use
course
that
not. Of course not.
interpretation, you could see that if you want to.
That's fucked up. But let's if you haven't said your first impressions already, let's go on to the reviews. Or not reviews, but the favorite moments. Shit.
Um, I'm sticking with the whistle as my first impression, but
Okay, okay.
um, I guess you could say the moment that stands out to me the most, because I don't really have too many, but the moment that stood out to me the most is when Hermie took all of the friggin' teeth out of the
The
snowman's
monster.
mouth.
Yeah, the snow monster, yeah. And you hear this motherfucker and he's trying to like talk. He don't have them teeth. He's like, oh damn. And then and then Cornelius was going after him, just freaking giving him the boot bops, and they fall off the cliff. You gotta mention too, that snow monster is fucking gigantic, and obviously that's the point.
Mhm.
But I gotta mention the whole little scene where they're doing all the reindeer games and whatnot, and they're trying to teach everybody how to fly. I forgot who was the first alien, alien reindeer up to go and
Alien,
fly.
what you thinking about?
No, but they explain like, yeah, you gotta run and then jump into the sky. The reindeer, I was gonna say alien again. The reindeers go boom, just fucking wipes out in the snow. Everybody was laughing, and one of the other deers goes like, yo, hey Rudolph, you gotta talk to that doe, man. So he's talking to the Clarice, and yo, man, Rudolph was feeling some Clarice, and I just love the head movements during that scene. I'm not even lying to you.
Yeah,
It's
this
like,
was made
yo,
with stop motion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like the head's getting so close. I'm like, oh shit, you gonna try to go in for a kiss, Rudolph? Oh shit, oh shit. And then obviously, um, he's just so nervous. She tells him he's cute. He's like, I'm cute, I'm cute. She said I'm cute. And I was wondering because I heard that. And I didn't know it was from this show or something else. But that whole I'm cute little line, man. He just gets so excited. He runs and he freaking hops into the sky. Boom. And not to mention, this was when Donner was hiding Rudolph's nose and it wasn't all red and shiny. When he's talking to Clarice, she can see the glow. Even though it was covered, she can see the glow on his face. That's how bright it was. I gotta say afterwards too, they were doing a little. What the fuck was that other reindeer called? I forgot his name. But basically, he was so excited. They were doing like the whole little Eskimo thing where they keep bumping the noses and shit, and then his cover comes off his nose and shit is just shining, just shining. And then that's when everybody starts making fun of him, talking about they're not gonna let him play in any more reindeer games and anything like that. So, and even Santa just tells him to get on, man. He can't guide his sleigh, which is really fucked up. And he tries to walk
Gay
Clarice.
ass.
he tries to walk Clarice home, and the dad's like, "Yo, man, yeah, ain't no red-nosed reindeer gonna be walking my Clarice home." Just basically shut his ass down. It's like, damn, wow, man, that's fucked up. What other moments you got?
No, that's the only one I really got.
Oh, this was a good
Yeah.
show though. Out of a 50-minute show, you got one moment. But I gotta say too, another moment of mine is obviously when Rudolph gets his redemption. Oh, before I gotta mention, he's talking to Clarice about his nose, and she's like, "Man, that doesn't matter. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you different." It's kind of like a big W for Rudolph. But Rudolph goes off on this little journey, and he goes with Cornelius, who I gotta say is gotta be one of the most dopest characters out of this whole freaking story. Like, I really fucks with Cornelius, man. The big old snow monster was chasing him and whatnot, and Cornelius obviously broke up the ice, and the snow monster just falls through and just goes onto the water. He's basically trapped. Why does see to me he looks like a freaking dirty snow monster? So he's supposed to be like pure white. He looks gray.
No, yeah, he
That's
definitely
that's
looks
the main
dirty.
thing that really stood out to me about him.
They probably did that to make him stand out more, though, because if he was just pure white, then he would have matched the background too much.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're 100% right. Obviously, like I said, Rudolph's redemption, where he has to help Santa guide his sleigh because the snow is too thick and whatnot, and his nose was just lighting up the entire room. That's when he really gets his redemption, I want to say. And he was guiding the sleigh. He was going to the island of misfit toys to get all the other toys so Santa can make sure they have a home. And when he's zooming in on the island, man, the whole island just lights up in red. I'm like, damn, Rudolph knows that, right? So it really shows you how effective his nose can be in environments like that. I gotta say too, the music in this episode, man, I love it. It just surprised me that none of these songs, especially the Misfits song, was ever played on the radio like that. I never heard it. And whenever my parents are playing Christmas music, that is one song I do not hear at all. I'm like, yo, this song is definitely long enough it could be played on the radio, but it never is. So just songs like that, and the Who song from the first Grinch Who Stole Christmas,
Yeah.
like, it just surprised me that those are never played on the radio. But
Is the Grinch song played on the radio? Yes, right?
The Grinch song, yeah. But not the song that the Who sing at the beginning. So,
no, yeah, I know that, but I was asking this because I feel like I heard the Grinch song.
Oh yeah, they definitely play that on the radio. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. I blabbed on long enough. Let's get into final reviews. I'm gonna ask you, go first. What is your review of this story? What are your thoughts?
I think it's really cool. It's really nice, I think it's really decent. I don't think it's like nothing too phenomenal in my opinion. I'm gonna say the same thing I said before. It's like a lot of these Christmas specials don't seem to be catching up to the Scrooge McDuck one, man. I really don't think so.
Was that put out in the 80s?
What, the Scrooge McDuck one?
Yeah.
I wanna say so. I think so, yeah. I think it was like 81 or something.
Okay. But go ahead.
But yeah, none of them are really matching up to that, man. Especially because, like, when you see top 10 lists of, of the cartoons, specials, and all that other shit for Christmas, like, you always see this one and Charlie Brown and the Grinch.
How the fuck that got on there?
You see, like, Charlie Brown, the Grinch, and all that other shit above Scrooge McDuck, and it's like, I don't know if I agree with that, man. I really can't say I agree with that. But I think this was a nice, decent little, special. So I think I'm gonna give it a 5.5. I mean a 6.
I'm about to say, whoa! You call that a decent special?
Maybe that's my true back of my mind sneaking out, man. I meant to say a 7.5.
Oh, so you're giving this a 7.5?
Yeah, I think it's pretty decent. The music is good, everything. But I just don't. I think it's good, but I don't feel the desire to ever watch it again.
Wow. Okay. Now, see, I'm gonna have to go past everything you said right there. And I'd even say a 7.5, maybe a little too high rating of something. Guys to consider that like a 7.5, something you would definitely watch again. But that's just my opinion. Me personally though, I really enjoyed this for what it was. I really enjoyed this. One thing that I wanted to say too, and I'm kind of disappointed I didn't say it earlier, is that this story I heard a lot when I was a kid. Obviously, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that's fucking synonymous with Christmas. Um, in the little storybook that I had read to me as a kid, now granted, I don't remember much of it, but I did not remember anything about an evil snowman or an elf named Hermie. Maybe the Hermie probably got blown into the back of my mind, but I for sure didn't remember hearing about a abominable snow monster or somebody named Yukon Cornelius. I don't remember anything like that. So besides this being way more different than the book, obviously this is 51-minute special, which I'm surprised they were making back in the day, to be honest with you. But it was very enjoyable, despite it being very different than the book. It was very, very enjoyable, if I do say so myself. I especially enjoy the fact that the main character is cool, Rudolph, but I found myself being, I was gonna say attracted to, but that's kind of yeah, I find myself liking
You were
Yukon
attracted.
Cornelius. I'm attracted to
Yeah.
Yukon Cornelius, man. I like guys. No, I
Is it the
don't.
beard,
But
man? Is it the
I don't
beard, man?
I don't know. But no, Yukon Cornelius took the spotlight for me. Like he seems way more cooler than Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which obviously with small Christmas specials like Scrooge McDuck, you find yourself obviously gravitating towards the main character. Even the Rocco's Modern Life Christmas special we did, Rocco I can easily say was my
It's
favorite
Rocco.
character out of that. I'm sorry, y'all know my struggles with that, but I think it's cool that I gravitated more towards Cornelius than Rudolph in this episode. Which, if you can get a side character to be more liked than the protagonist, I don't know if you're doing yourself a disservice or you're doing. If it's the main point, it's like, yeah, okay. If your goal is to like this character more, then all right, cool. But Yukon, he has funny jokes. He seems like a funny motherfucker, and obviously he saves the day with the snow monster as he ends up reforming the motherfucking beast. So overall, I like this. I like this story. I really do. I love this story. I was kind of worried. 51 minutes is a long time. I thought it was gonna be like Charlie Brown, kind of lame. But I was somewhat familiar with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I do have to say this though. I will watch it again. Not this year, obviously. It's something like you want to pull out every once a year during Christmas time, unlike Charlie Brown. But I will say this. For this episode, I'm going to give it exactly what you gave it. A 7.5 out of 10. Very enjoyable. I will definitely watch this next year. Um, and yeah, I'm glad I finally seen it, man. For a Christmas special that came out in 1964, they did a very good job with bullying and whatnot. Because it depends how you interpret it. You can see it going towards discrimination or just treating people just on the basis of gender, race, or just difference in general. It's like, man, it had so many messages within it, and it's up to you as the viewer what you want to take from it. So I like when cartoons, especially, do something like that. They put messages within the story. So I'm gonna give this one a nice 7.5 out of 10. Very enjoyable. I'll definitely watch this next year for Christmas for sure. Like this is something I'll definitely go back to and rewatch again. Very enjoyable story. Good characters too. Comedy on point. Definitely good for a kid's show. So with all that being said, man, I'm the cartoon kid, Ray Rawlins. He's Alex Payne. We both give this bad boy a 7 out of 10. That has been our review of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is the Cartoon Kid channel where we talk cartoons and we do it daily, baby. And this has been the final episode of the 25 Days of Christmas Cartoons Marathon. As always, leave your comments and thoughts down in the comments box below. Tell us if you like this episode. Tell us if you hate it. And if you have any cartoons that you want us to review beyond this marathon, hey, let us know, man. But until then, we will see you when we see you. Got some content going up on the channel that was for this marathon that got hit with copyright too in the next coming days. Pinky in the Brain, we got the SpongeBob Christmas being re-uploaded. And we got an old Invader Zim review we did, man. Going all up on this channel by the 31st of this year. So, with all that being said, man, we will see you when we see you. Peace out, everybody.